I know there's a few of you out there who are going, there was an Iron Eagle 2? And even more of you going, what's Iron Eagle? Well, the fact that this is published by Pack-In Video might give you a clue. Almost all of their Famicom games have been licensed movie adaptations of Western films. And this happens to be the very last Pack-In Video game. Good riddance. Iron Eagle was a pretty awful Top Gun knockoff. The kind of generic action film that nobody remembers. But somehow it kept chugging along and getting sequels. The plot of the film Ace's Iron Eagle III is that some old fighter pilots come out of retirement to fight South American Nazi drug lords using World War II era fighter craft. The game Ace's Iron Eagle III doesn't have anything to do with that. Instead, you're getting missions from the US government and taking modern fighter jets out into battle. You're given your choice of up to 4 missions at a time. And after you clear that set of 4 missions, then you move on to the next set, which increase in difficulty. There's 9 sets of these missions, so 36 missions in all. After you've picked your mission, you select which aircraft you're going to use. And they do have different maneuverability, speed, and weapons. Between the 3 of them, I found the F-14 the easiest to use, and the Harrier just a bullet-soaking target. After you pick your aircraft, you pick your armament, and you can hit the auto button if you like, but you can also choose what you want at every hard point on the plane. I'd recommend taking a mix of air and ground-based weaponry, and when it comes to air-to-air combat, just take the best missiles available. You'll have fewer of them available, but they're overwhelmingly effective, and you don't have to take down that many aircraft anyways. With your loadout complete, it's time to fly the mission. And every mission consists of 2 parts. An air attack, where you have to take out a certain number of fighter jets, and then a ground attack, where your goal is to take out the mission targets. In the air, A fires your machine gun, B fires your special weapon, usually a missile. Hitting select will rotate through which special weapon you're using. And if you hit A and B together, you release some chaff to shake missiles off your tail. There is an altitude here, so you could crash into the ground. The altimeter is just a bar, which makes it a bit hard to make out. The radar has 2 different ranges. The long-range radar just shows targets as dots, while the close-up one shows them as planes. If they're gray, then they're below you. If they're red, then they're above you. Holding down B and pressing up and down will adjust your aircraft's speed. If you fly at too sharp of an angle, or if you fly too slow, then there's a chance you could stall out and crash into the ocean. I found that it was kind of difficult to get lock-ons for some reason. Sometimes it just won't start the process of locking on, even if you have the other jet steady and in your sights. Jets take progressive damage, so if you're hit you could lose systems. I didn't see a whole lot of difference in performance though when I lost something. For enemy aircraft, sometimes they'll just crash a while after you've hit them. You'll just get notified that you've destroyed a craft. It's not very satisfying when that happens. Sometimes when a jet is destroyed, it'll leave behind a power-up. An M will restore some of your missiles, while the R will repair some systems. If there's a power-up floating out there, it won't advance to the ground attack section, so you have to collect them. For the ground attack, you switch to an isometric viewpoint, where left and right will rotate your plane, while up and down will change your altitude. A will fire your machine gun, and B will drop any bombs that you have. You have a crosshair for bombing, but it's pretty inaccurate. In the upper left you have a tiny display that tells you how much fuel you have left, your health bar, how many targets are left, and what direction you need to go to get to the closest one. There's more things to shoot on the ground than just the mission targets. There's often other structures and anti-aircraft guns, and sometimes other aircraft will show up to attack you as you're attacking things on the ground. Some of the targets you hit on the ground may also release power-ups, and they also include B for bombs and F for fuel. The machine gun always aims slightly down, but the closer you are to the ground, the closer it hits. But being close to the ground makes it more likely that you're going to run into something. If a plane does get shot down, then it's just no longer available for you. And if you run out of planes, then it's game over. On the other hand, if you complete all 4 missions in a block, then you get some new equipment. And beating any mission will give you a password that will let you pick up right where you left off. Ace's Iron Eagle III, the Famicom game, is about as obscure in Japan as the movie is. In fact, I think this might be the fewest comments that I could find for any game so far in this series. There is nothing out there. It's even hard to find a cartridge, although it isn't one that people really chase down and as such isn't especially expensive. This is a real mess of a game. I can see the outline of good ideas here, and I wouldn't be shocked if some people played it and enjoyed it a lot. But the air combat strains between trying to be realistic and trying to be arcadey, and the ground attack is just confusing to play thanks to the poor perspective. And while the backgrounds might change, all of the missions wind up feeling the same pretty quickly. I'm going to mark this one down as good effort, weak execution.